Once again, we are back on Temu.com, and the question is, are we going to find some good technological bargains or a whole lot of scuff? Let's find out. Temu Fest? Is this like some sort of Prime Day ripoff? Okay, here's something interesting. So what we have here is a hand crank generator. Now the idea is you would wind it up and keep winding it up, and as you're doing this, it will turn your motions into energy. Of course, who's to say how well this will actually work, but I am pretty curious about it. It is $42, which I don't know how much hand cranks cost, but that honestly seems a bit high. But hey, something like this could be useful, especially in emergencies or in places where you might not have access to electricity and might need to charge your phone or whatever. Add to cart. Oh! Once again, Temu thinks I'm a bot. Click on the letter above the sphere. Cool. Oh my god! Okay, back to what I wanted to click on. This right here is an SM7B, a Shure microphone. This is like the podcasting GOAT, at least for a lot of people. I mean, it actually looks like an SM7B. Why not? Add to cart. Yo? Any Filipinos in the chat? I gotta say, is it just me, or is it way too easy to buy a mini chainsaw on Temu? I don't know, man. When I just think chainsaw, I think... Now, hear me out. This right here might seem a bit boring, but I've been curious about these kinds of products for quite some time. It is a handheld document scanner. The idea being you take this wand, you wave it over a piece of paper, and it digitizes it so that you can send it off in an email or make PDFs of a book. Whatever you need to do, this does it. Every now and then I'll run into some kind of TikTok or YouTube short. People on their travels to Japan would actually wave this over street signs, posters on the wall, etc., so that they can be immortalized digitally or used for reference later. This does seem to have some really neat features such as USB-C charging and, most importantly, a micro SD card slot, so you don't need the assistance of a phone or computer to operate it. It'll just save all the things you scan onto the card itself. I get that this is a thing, but did you have to add the wings? I don't think the wings are necessary. In fact, what did the wings even mean in that context? Let me know if you know in the comments below. What in the world? Okay, so what we have here are corrective glasses, but instead of having a glass lens, this has a bunch of holes for lenses. Now, what I'm about to say probably isn't relatable if you don't wear glasses, but for my fellow nearsighted bros, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but you can do this thing with your fingers where you make a little pinhole, and if you look through it, especially for me being blind, you might be surprised to see that what is inside there is actually in focus. Oh, but also I guess there's another pitch here as well. Consistency is key. 20 minutes a day for 4 weeks. And I guess if you do this, it will improve your vision naturally. Now, obviously, I know enough to be skeptical here of any kind of enhancement to my vision this could add over a 4-week regimen. But I am genuinely curious to see what the vision is out of these pair of glasses. And maybe, just maybe, using these consistently enough could correct my vision by 1% or 2. Well, with a label like that, you're certainly not gonna confuse it for Tylenol. Gee, I wonder what that is. All right, I got a bunch of stuff in the cart, so let me check out, and we'll be right back once everything shows up to see if what we got from Temu is good or scuffed. Before we continue, I'd like to thank Suno for sponsoring this portion of the video. Here's the thing, when I'm editing videos, especially for quick turnaround projects or YouTube shorts, finding the right background music can be frustratingly time-consuming sometimes. You're either scrolling through stock music libraries for way too long trying to find something that fits the vibe, or you're dealing with copyright claims and licensing headaches. But that's where Suno comes in. It's an AI music creation platform that helps you execute your creative vision for custom tracks. Whether you need something chill and ambient for a product showcase, or high-energy beats for gaming footage, you're able to dial in exactly the vibe you're going for. In fact, recently I was looking for an upbeat, energetic instrumental for a montage, so I prompted Suno with the mood and genre I had in mind, and within minutes I had exactly what I needed. The coolest part is that you have full creative control. Regenerate sections, adjust the style, or even extend tracks to match your edit's length. Plus, as a Suno subscriber, you'll also have full commercial usage rights on anything you make. No copyright strikes, no licensing fees, just custom music that fits your content perfectly. If you're curious and would like to try out Suno for yourself, scan the QR code on your screen or click on the link in the description below. And again, huge thanks to Suno for sponsoring this portion of the video. Alright, surprisingly enough, it's only been like 4 days since I put in my Temu order, and because I guess with all the tariffs and stuff, a lot of the items that are in Temu warehouses are already here domestically in the US, which means I don't have to wait like 3 or 4 weeks for things to show up, which is actually kind of a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here is a piece of paper. Look at that. Our Gozo hand crank generator. Oh, yep, that would do it. It actually looks like a power supply. I mean, surprise, surprise. I love the blue finish on this. To test out this hand crank generator, I'm going to be plugging it into my iPhone 17 Pro Max. And the idea here is that it is actually a realistic scenario. Imagine if your phone is running low on battery and you are away from a power source or are experiencing a blackout and need to contact someone in case of an emergency. Something like a hand crank could be genuinely useful. Oh, immediately! We're charging! Let's go! Now, the iPhone 17 Pro Max has the largest battery of the iPhone 17 series of devices, meaning this might take a little bit, though maybe the phone is using more power than I'm actually generating. I don't know how much power I'm generating right now. I probably should have checked that before I embarked on this journey. It's cool though, because you can actually feel the resistance while cranking, which gives you the sense that something's actually happening. It's almost like regenerative braking in an electric car. I'm gonna give myself a 1-minute timer, and we'll see where we are at after a minute. Set alarm for a minute. We've been doing this for like 5 minutes straight. Let's see if we've gained that percent. 18%, we f***ed up. Okay, I don't like that at all. I have this Anker power bank, and why I like it so much is because it actually has a screen built in that will tell you how much input and output this battery is doing. So right now I am at 14%, so it should take whatever power is given to it. And I'm just gonna crank away and it'll tell me the wattage. 2 watts, 8 watts, 6 watts, 11 watts. Wait, why was our phone charging? Wait, okay. Theory. So the more power this was taking in, the more resistance I was feeling on the crank. So I'm gonna go right now, it's pretty light. And as the battery bank is figuring out how much power it could take in with this random power source, all of a sudden, there's an automatically added resistance here to generate what is looking like 5 watts, 10 watts, 6 watts, and it's actively adapting on the fly, this generator. The iPhone and the generator probably weren't talking to each other in an optimal way. Maybe the iPhone figured this power source is just really and it didn't want to give it the time of day or anything. But this battery bank was telling the whole story. This generator could actually, with the right device, be really handy. I'm also tired as f***. I don't want to do that ever again. Okay, whatever is inside of this next package is pretty light and small. Survey says, ooh, our dotted glasses. Interesting. Okay. Now, a little info about myself. Obviously, I wear glasses, but specifically, I am very nearsighted. Like, if I take my glasses off to get a sense of how close I can see from my face, I have to get my hands right around here before they are in focus. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. And I guess the idea behind these glasses and its perforations is that, especially for someone like me that typically uses corrective lenses, these, without the need of any magnification, will allow me to see thanks to some optical science. So on first impressions, right away, I am able to see things further away than I would have otherwise without my glasses. Things are not the sharpest, but I'm able to make out text and whatnot from maybe about 15 feet away. That is wild. We have all of these pinholes on these lenses and they are super close to my eyes, so they appear out of focus. But when my brain stitches all of these pieces of light together, it does make for enough of a sharp enough readout so that I can make out things on my preview monitor over here. Though I will say aesthetically, however, you won't be convincing anyone that you're not blind with these, because yeah, I do got a little bit of that Stevie Wonder action here, but you know what? These things are rad, and I don't think we paid a whole lot of money on Temu for them either. Hell yeah. Okay, let's see what is in the next box. Oh, okay. This is our fake SM7B, the podcasting microphone choice of a lot of professionals out there. This guy cost us somewhere in the neighborhood of $70 to $80, which is way, way cheaper than the real thing, which normally costs somewhere between $400 to $500. Looking around it, what you won't find here is any Shure branding whatsoever. In fact, it doesn't even say it on the paper manual. Full metal construction all around with a very similar pop filter to the original, and it even has the XLR connector on the yoke. Of course, with this being a proper microphone, we do have to plug it into something like a USB interface, and that is where this guy comes in. I figured if I was going to pick up a fake SM7B, I might as well also grab a bootleg Focusrite Scarlett. Now, personally for me, it's been quite a while since I've actually used one of these. In fact, I never owned one myself, but I've seen them enough where I can at least get a gauge on whether or not it's a good copy. We only paid about $66 for this, but the real thing actually goes for double, if not more than that. In fact, if you tally up the cost of both of these things together from Temu, it costs about the same as the real version of the Focusrite Scarlett, which makes me wonder what all of this is actually going to sound like. Test, 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 1, 2. And it looks like we are hitting around negative 10 dB in OBS. I'm gonna turn it up all the way. Oh yeah, you can hear all of the environmental noise and all of the grit from increasing that gain. It's very noisy. And thus, what you'll see people run, especially with the real versions of this gear, is a cloud lifter between the SM7B and the Focusrite Scarlett. Effectively, it's a preamp that allows you to increase that gain while keeping the signal noise low. And it just so happens that the This Is studio across the hall from me has this one for their whole entire setup. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop over there and hot swap their real SM7B with this one and do an A and B comparison to see how good the real version sounds versus the fake one. All right, so I am here in the This Is set, which just so happens to have a real SM7B setup with a cloud lifter hooked up to a Mix Pre 3. It's about as serious as you would get for a podcast setup. And yeah, what I'm gonna do here is a very simple test. I'm going to do this recording right now with the real SM7B. In fact, that is what you are hearing right now. And we are going to hot swap the XLR cable from this onto the fake SM7B and see what the differences are. And now this is the sound clip with the fake Temu SM7B. Matt actually relayed to me that it might sound a little louder. I'm gonna take this back to my studio and hear them both A to B, but I'm really curious. What do you think? Next product up, we have a portable scanning wand. Now these things are cool because you're able to wave them over things like documents, and it will digitize them to use for whatever you want on your computer. All right, pretty straightforward. So we have the scanner itself, which is actually a nice compact size. You could easily throw this in a bag. Quite plasticky, but honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less. And what's really cool is that we have these guide wheels over here to keep your scanning on track. They're a little rubberized, so if you need to keep a straight alignment for your scan. So first up, let me do my white balance calibration. This probably won't look anything interesting, but put the scanner in the white area, press the power scan button to turn on and start. Okay, we got it up there. Sick, it appears we are all calibrated now. It was pretty easy to do, but I guess it's time to scan things. All right, so I spent a little bit of time doing a lap around the office, trying to digitize a whole bunch of things, and ultimately my takeaway with the user experience on this guy is that it is quite a bit frustrating to use. Ultimately, while the act of scanning in and of itself is quite simple and easy to do, the results can vary wildly. Sometimes the image can appear wavy, which can come down to a few things, including the scanner itself kind of wobbling, or the piece of paper or object you are trying to digitize moving around. For other images, the exposure could be too dark or has a bunch of artifacting in it. And probably the most egregious fault is when this device decides to not scan for the entire duration it implies it will do. Really, it's a shame this thing didn't work out as well as I hoped it would, because it would have been nice to actually take this around and digitize all kinds of random things around the world, like street signs, textures in nature. And as someone that loves to do graphic design, using this to direct capture references to use in my own works later on would have been kind of sweet. This scanner could have been a reliable way to directly capture 2D surfaces, but I guess I'm just gonna have to rely on my phone for that. All right, this next item is decently sized. It's also not that heavy. I wonder what's in here. Aww. Okay, I kind of know now. Basically, this contraption is a sort of chair that you can strap to your legs at all times, so you can sit on demand whenever you want. As you can see, it articulates in a few different places, and the idea here is when you're standing or walking, it's supposed to be out of the way, but when you actually go to sit down, it will bend and give you some leverage, just like a real chair. Obviously, this might be a bit difficult to visualize right now because I'm not wearing it at the moment, though I will be in just a second to do a proper demo. And apart from that, we have a bunch of Velcro here, presumably to tie around our leg to keep this thing secure. Well, I think there's nothing for it. Let's give it a shot. All right, I'm just gonna strap this to my leg. Okay. One. Off to a good start. Look, one cheek.
Bro, what the, what?
Is the peg going in? I feel like I'm learning how to put shoes on for the first time. Okay, how do I look?
You want me to answer honestly, or?
It's like I'm wearing nothing at all. Wait, one cheek is lower than the other. Oh, you're at the whims of where the back leg rests. I could use this on set, Austin. Whenever I'm filming with you for like 10 hours at a time and I need to rest my feet, all I have to do is follow you with camera. Oh, I'm tired. I'm just gonna sit down, get a lower shot. Look at this. Isn't this not the pinnacle of chair innovation? I mean, come on, like, no one would ever tell. Okay. Slight problem. This contraption broke, for one, but going down the stairs, half the time, it wants to become a chair when I don't necessarily want it to be. I'll say that when you're not going up and down stairs, not the worst experience. If you want a chair on the go that badly, without, oh, without assembly or portability, then the Robo chair 9000 might be for you. Actually going sideways. You know what? We found a new way. Temu out here giving us some very, very solid innovation right here. Oh, now I have a, okay.